What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Jeremy Tyler for the $15 donation via the PayPal. Sorry for the delay in actually doing this request video. He said, salute Too Raw. Now that college sports have NIL deals and are starting to pay players, if the NBA made a 2 to 3 year rule before going pro, similar to the NFL, do you think that would help the overall game when they get to the NBA? Or do you think it wouldn't make much of a difference? Now, I'm assuming you mean from the actual level of play and the product of the NBA. Well, first let me talk about NIL deals. Now, NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. I think it was back in 2021 when the NCAA reluctantly changed their rules about college athletes earning income. One of the biggest criticisms of college basketball, one of the reasons why players were joining the professional ranks is that these guys are starting to make more and more money playing in the NBA. All right? Let's just we're focusing on the NBA. These guys are making so much money now. I mean, you got stars who are making $60 million a season before taxes. And after the next TV deal, it's probably going to go to 70 plus million. Okay, these guys are making bananas money. Even the role players, after they inked their rookie deals, they're making 3, 4, 5 million a year. So these guys are multimillionaires. So that's very alluring to a poor black kid from Alabama, or even a poor white kid from Louisiana or something, you know what I mean? Or whoever. That's appealing. So yeah. And then there's always the risk you can get hurt. And I'm not talking about a sprained ankle or something. I mean a serious catastrophic injury. So all these guys feel pressured to cash in. And plus, their family is in their ear. Go ahead and cash in. But the problem with that is college is where these guys are supposed to learn the basics of the game, right? Not a basketball player. But from what I could tell from fan feedback and from what other players who had to go to college or at the very least they had to play three years of college and then go pro, college is where you learn the basics. Now what's going on is they keep talking about how these guys are so skilled. But really what they're saying is that these guys are better ball handlers. Even that comes with a caveat because these guys are able to do things that players in the past couldn't do because of the more stringent ball handling rules. And there are better three-point shooters, but the fundamentals aren't there as far as post play, defense, understanding, moving off the ball, so many different things that are lost in the fundamentals. College is supposed to be where these guys excel in that. That's why a guy like Tim Duncan, who played 4 years at Wake Forest, was NBA ready when he first came into the league. Won Rookie of the Year, 97, 98. As opposed to a guy like Kevin Garnett who came out of came out of high school, and it took him a couple of years to get into the flow of the NBA and to adjust. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. Now these guys are babysitters. These these non-college players, the league has to babysit them. We see what Greg Popovich said about how he has to teach guys who are now coming to the NBA with 1 year of college experience versus guys with 3 and 4 years. He's having to go over the basic stuff that these guys used to already know. So look, Cooper Flagg, who will be playing with Duke this season, has already inked a deal with New Balance. But because of the conflict with Duke having a partnership with Nike, When he's on court playing with Duke, he's going to have to wear Nikes. But off the court, he's going to wear New Balance. And I'm pretty sure they're going to look at make sure he's doing that. And once he turns pro, I'm pretty sure he's going to always wear New Balance, unless he eventually thinks to deal with some other shoe company, maybe Jordan. But anyway, as far as payment is concerned, colleges are still, if I'm not mistaken, aren't allowed to pay these players, although they're trying to work on changing that now. All right. Now, me personally, I'm all for this. I'm all for it. On a couple of reasons why I'm for it. Number one, I never thought it was fair that these college and universities are getting rich off these players, rich, and the players weren't seeing one damn red cent from it. This ain't 1957 when it wasn't as profitable. But when you see college coaches making 5, 7, 8 million a year, maybe more now, and these players aren't making a dime, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. So I'm all for that. All for it. As a matter of fact, one of the things I don't like is that I think that, if I'm not mistaken from reading, the income is kind of fixed. Whereas if you're a superstar, the amount of money that you make may not be much different from the least talented teammate. If I read that correctly, I don't think that's fair. I think if you're a star, you should make the most money. That's how I've always felt. But at the same time, I think when you're a star, you're supposed to get the most responsibility. But as we know, a certain guy from Akron screwed that all up. And another thing, a lot of these players, this is an opportunity for them to make money. Look, a lot of these guys come from, and I alluded to this earlier, a lot of these guys come from poor families, okay? So a lot of these guys are in college based on athletics scholarships, not scholastic. And a lot of these guys aren't exactly Einstein. You know, they're not exactly Thomas Sowell when it comes to, intellectual acumen. So, this is an avenue of a path to make money. So I say, make as much money as possible. And let's be honest, college basketball, NCAA, that's the good old boy system. So from a young black kid from Minnesota, from Mississippi or South Carolina, or even a poor white kid that comes from, Tennessee, if he can make money or she can make money this way, so be it. I've read of a couple of college basketball players who have made a couple of $1 million from this. I'm all for that. Fuck it. Now, can this help the league, the NBA? Well, it can, because it may not. Look, if these guys are making money, especially if the NBA, first of all, the NBA should, in my opinion, require that these guys go to college at least 2 years. At least 2 years. There's no goddamn rush, because by the time you get drafted, you'll still be 19, 20 years old. At least 2 goddamn years. Me, really, I think it's be 3, but let's go with 2. So that would improve their readiness as far as performance going into the league. Then, if they make money, right? They're making money in college, not compared to the league, but still, they're making good money, right? And they already know what it's like to have agents and dealing with companies and endorsements and all that. If they get used to the business aspect of it, because sometimes I think these guys get overwhelmed by the business aspect and distracted by the business aspect of basketball. That's why a lot of these guys say they face so much pressure. You guys got to see psychiatrists. Well, if they get kind of used to that earlier, where they're a little bit lower profile, and they learn the matter of fact, the ins and out of business. tell you, man, sometimes my tongue don't match my damn brain. Intricacies is what I was trying to say, but my tongue was doing some. Fuck you. Anyway, these guys learned the intricacies and the ins and outs of the business earlier, helps them out, right? So, yeah, I think that potentially it could help them be better basketball players and better and make more sound business judgments and be better business people. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Because let's be honest, I mean, it's not just about being ready for basketball. It's being ready for life, the challenges that come with, having all this money, and how to deal with these snakes, and you got to deal with all this stuff earlier, man. It gets them ready for all of that stuff that comes with being great and being a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my take on it. Okay. That's my take on this. Trying to see anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, the business part of it's really going to change the game. Okay. And it should be like that because these guys are very valuable. Okay. And they're making these universities and any entity, basketball games, sports promotion that use their likeness, and they're not profiting off of it, but the video game systems, the networks, they're all profiting off of them, but they weren't getting any. That's not fair at all. It's not fair. And I'm all for capitalism. So at the end of the day, yeah. I'm just reading something. So I think if I'm reading this correctly, Duke. Let me see something. New Dookie Cooper Flag. Is this saying that he is making 1.1 million per season in NIL? Yeah. So I'm all for this, man. But anyway, what you guys think?